Welcome back to another episode of Alternate Empire. I want to talk with you a little bit today about the intention of where you're pointing your arrow. There can be a lot of wobbly energy in really choosing a direction for your business. This doesn't mean that it's set in stone or that you have to niche down, because it's actually not about niching down. It's about making choices that align with your future goals. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be just a business coach, just a healer, just this, just that. And you don't even have to be a very specific type. Now, of course, if you have that already, beautiful. But if you're someone who kind of wobbles back and forth sometimes, or there's a lot of multidimensional nature to you, very just, you can do a lot of things, right? You have so many beautiful gifts. You have a lot of wisdom and practical application for everything you do. What you really need to begin doing is understanding that it's less about a title and more about how you weave it together. So don't worry about calling yourself a coach or this or that, or you don't have to be specific, because actually when people look at, say, your social media, whatever title you give yourself on there is really just kind of like a blanket concept. It is not what they're going to hire you for. They're not going to be like, oh, this person's a business coach, I'm going to hire them. Or this person is a somatic healer, I'm going to hire them. No, they hire you. That helps them narrow it down. But they hire you based on the beautiful way that you have woven your soul gifts together. So you have this incredible vastness to you. And what you have yet to discover is how to put the pieces of it all together, how to weave your web to allow clients to understand the multifaceted aspects of the service that you offer. Because I guarantee that there's probably multiple different aspects of what you do. And whether maybe you don't even quite know all of them yet, but you know most of them, right? You know that you kind of have your own beautiful way of creating, right? Creating transformation, creating space, holding all of that for your clients and the people in your world. So breaking this down, here is a few steps you can take to really start weaving together your specific gifts into more of the only word I can think of is more of a realm, okay? Like a web. This is more important to look at yourself from almost a zoomed out perspective as much as you can, because then you can see, okay, I have this ability, and this ability adds to this one, and this one adds to this one, and this one adds to that. And when you understand how they weave together, you actually get more clarity on the direction. So don't worry about calling yourself something specific. Yes, pick something that you think is close enough as far as your title goes, but you don't need to overthink all of that. And there are some of you who are I know that if you're listening, you want to have a specific title, you want to be specific because you want people to understand you. You want people to understand what you do and how you can help them, and you want to do that in the simplest fashion, right? This isn't because there's nothing wrong with that. You're just looking for simplicity, you're looking for directness, and you're looking for effectiveness in your marketing and in the way that you're showing up in your business. So by identifying how you move people through a process, right? So you could start maybe taking some notes, and you say, I want you to list all of your specific gifts, all of the training that you have, all of your life experiences. I want you to list them all. And then I want you to think back to how you walk your clients through that, right? Or how you walked yourself through it. So how has your journey evolved? How has your process supported your own results? Or for your clients, if you already have decent and consistent client base, right? Look at how those gifts all flowed together. And what you need to understand is that it's not about honing in on one, it's about using each of them in a specific fashion that allows you to create a process that you can talk about, that you can explain to people. Because the reality is the way that you have learned everything you learned, when your gifts came online, it wasn't for no reason. It came online and it came to you because of your specific journey, what you were doing. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone's journey is going to look like yours. However, your ability to move someone through a process, that is your process. That is how you move people. So look at the very beginning of where you started and document where your soul gifts came aligned or came online, and then start breaking that down and make it linear. It may not be linear in real life because the reality is we spiral. So there is very often where you'll have a gift and then you'll have an ability or you'll have a training or something comes and you learn a bunch about it. And then it comes back around at some point for you to learn a little bit more and learn a little bit more. And the thing is you'll never stop fine-tuning. You'll never stop growing and learning. But you do have to let where you're at be enough. You have to let it be okay that you are exactly where you are. And it doesn't mean anything about you if you're not where you want to be. Because the reality is you are where you wanted to be. And you need to remember that. So focus on creating a process, because when you are building out your information inside of your marketing, inside of the way that you sell your services, you need to understand that process that you used to get where you are. And it needs to be your own process. It doesn't need to look like mine. It doesn't need to look like anyone else's, because the reality is you have a specific way of moving through, just like your clients will never have an exactly the same experience as you. There may be enough similarities for you to use your process to guide them through it, but you will always have a little bit of variation, and that is where you need to honor their power and their sovereignty in their own story, in their own journey. So while you are bringing people through yours, allow them the grace, allow them the ability to see how theirs all unfolds for them, because it may be a little different from you, and that is good. It should be a little different. Yes, there can be overarching themes. That is why we have such a soul resonance with certain people. But circling back to really honing in on your process, Start at the beginning of yours and walk it step by step. You can even start with the bigger steps that you can remember, and then start backfilling the smaller lessons that you remember. And this doesn't have to be something you hurry through. This can be something that you can take your time with, or you can add to. Like, if you have an experience, or if you're working with someone, or you're having a conversation and it reminds you, like, oh yeah, I remember I learned this in this part of my journey. Go back and document it. Go document where that happened, because that is part of the journey that you're going to use to bring people through, right? You are an initiator, so to speak, right? Yes, we're guides, we're counselors, we're people who walk people through a process, right? We're coaches and healers, but we need to recognize how we bring people through a process, why it's important, right? And recognizing that story within yourself and your own path is going to help you speak more confidently about what it is that you do and how you bring people through a process. You need to start making sure you understand what that looks like and paying attention to all of those steps and break it down for yourself. It's kind of like reverse engineering. But when you can do that, then you will attract and naturally speak to some portion of their journey. They can either relate to, oh, I've been there, or say, oh, this is what I'm going through now, or, oh, that's what I want, right? You're going to hit them at multiple different levels, because when you speak to all of your journey as opposed to just one portion of it, you are literally bringing them through the process while in just the marketing and teaching phase, right? Because that's really what marketing is teaching on a very kind of zoomed out level. You are responsible for the information you put out there, what you share, and it becomes a process in and of itself to allow people to move through your content, right? You're holding and creating a space for them so that they can learn you, they can understand that you know what they're going through and how they can manage it if they're looking at it from maybe a different perspective, right? So try this. If you are struggling to make content or to structure your offers in a way that speaks directly to the clients that you're looking for, use the story of your own journey and touch at different points.